Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larson with Chuck Schultz, and you're watching the 5-Off 5-On Racing Show. Welcome to another night of race talk, and there's a lot that went on this weekend. It went from nothing to...
Well, that's because, they started racing. Speedweeks, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you got a little bit of nothing going on at Daytona, and then you got everything going on at Daytona. It's the big thing.
Well, when you look back on how this Daytona thing came to be, these big racetrack in the middle of nowhere, built by Bill France and his friends, Big Bill France, I should say. But prior to that, they raced on the beach. When
half on the beach and half on the...
Route A1A. We have some
A1A,
pictures of that, looking at how that was run. A lot of people, they don't understand how that happened. And when you try to explain to them, they still don't understand. Now, this is the north turn coming off the beach.
That's the famous turn.
Yeah, and the beach, if you've never been there, you still, to this day, you drive your car in the beach, you back it in or drive it head in, and you open your trunk, and there's all your stuff. And that's an area view of the turn, the north turn, and then going back south on A1A. And when you look at this, I couldn't count the cars because I was looking at some footage. If you showed up, you were in the show. There was no qualifying.
Well, they just put you on there.
Yeah.
They took your money and put you in. And whatever ruts happened on that turn, they were on that turn.
Yeah.
So you had to try to avoid them, because if you didn't and you hit it the wrong way, you flipped your car.
Oh, without a doubt.
And they ran convertibles on that course, too.
Yep. And all they were stock cars.
They were stock cars. Yeah,
look at, can you imagine going down A1A at 100 miles an hour, 120, whatever they went back then, to go into a dust ball?
There you go.
And here, there's no cautions. Wherever your car landed
is where you are.
Well, you look at that black car, it got stuck.
If you get out, you get out. If you don't get out, well, then you got to wait till the end of the race.
You'll be watching the race. But,
it's a beach enduro, if you will.
Yes.
How about that?
That's a good way to look at it. A beach enduro. Because that was how they did it back in those days. And they didn't do any of this stuff where you had to qualify. And you had hours and hours of practice. When you brought your race car to the track, then you unloaded. Some drove their cars to the racetrack.
Yeah,
back then.
they drove there. They put the numbers on it, and then they raced it.
Yeah,
and they peeled the numbers off in tape and went back home.
Years ago,
parked it in the driveway. They were ready for work on Monday. I mean, isn't that what we kind of do now?
Yeah, years ago, it was in the, I'm going to say, mid to late 70s. Riverhead Raceway had a run with your brung for street cars.
Okay.
Now, it wasn't like spectator drags. It was whatever you showed up with.
Yeah.
You taped numbers on your door, and you went racing.
Yeah.
And they lined the cars up by size. So if you had like a Pinto or a Vega, you were in the front row. And if you had like a Cadillac or an Imperial, you were in the back row. So I show up with a Pinto.
And you're in the front row.
I'm outside pole.
Oh, boy.
And I'm thinking we're just going to ride around.
Oh, yeah, not that Cadillac. He's going to ride right around you.
I'm thinking that I'm going down a back stretch, and I feel a little bump. I'm like, nah, I can't be wrecking this car. Now, I took masking tape, if you could imagine.
You can't wreck the car because you just bought it from a friend.
Yeah.
You borrowed it from him for the Saturday night. You got to return it back.
I need to borrow a car to go to races. So I took masking tape, and I put a 7 on the door, and a 7. I had the hatchback, so I had that big window, and a 7 on the window. All right, so the races are over. I drove off the racetrack. I'm thinking it's one of the few times I drove off without a tow truck.
But you didn't have a choice. You needed to get home.
I had to get home, and my father would have killed me. So I take the tape off.
It was his car, wasn't it?
Well, it was mine, but
Oh, that old gag.
Yeah.
It was his car.
It was his car. I mean, the registration was his name.
You made a key copy.
Yeah. So
did they even check the registrations back then? No, right?
No, they didn't
matter.
You had to have valid registration, inspection, and what else? Insurance card.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, and the plates had to match everything.
Really?
So that was to stop you from stealing cars.
Oh, okay.
So I take the tape off at the end of the night, having a couple of beers with my friends, and I drive home. It's all good. I wake up the next morning, and the dust stuck to the glue of the tape. And I still had 7s on my car. Oh, yeah, the good old days. We had fun, Chuck. We had fun. You know, you look back at some of the things that. But anyway, that's how it started. And that race, I believe, that we just showed a picture of was from 1958. It was one of the last beach courses because the following year they went to the big track, that Big Bill just.
But that's that's humble beginnings. That's really that's what it's all about. I mean,
without a doubt.
Not what they're doing today.
And the fans that were in the they had makeshift grandstands, and when they got there to open in the morning, they were already half full because the people went the night before, so they didn't have to pay.
Yeah, well, they just pulled their car onto the beach, opened their trunk, and there they go. They got the first tailgate party.
Ready. I'd love to see that.
And they're standing on the track as the cars are coming by at 50
that?
miles an hour. Yeah.
The crew, they pitted, they just, drive off. And they had to judge the tide because a hard tide came in and made that stretcher.
Make that stretch a little tighter, and the spectators were in the water.
It had to be so much fun back then.
Well, I mean, back in the day, we had racing on Long Island when it started.
Yeah.
And they used to race on the streets in Long Island, and people would go out on the roads and wait for the cars to come. They wouldn't get off the track quick enough to get hit by the cars.
Yeah.
So they started calling it the slaughter race.
Right.
So they put up snow fence. People would hop the snow fence. What did that matter?
Yeah.
Right? So they were still getting hit. They were still getting hurt. And then Vanderbilt built a motor parkway so they could race.
Well, yeah, there were a lot of...
And that still didn't work out. And guess what? Still, Long Island was upset, so they basically blew them off, and it wound up being the Indianapolis 500. We lost that race.
Yeah.
That was really the big race.
But you look at those days, it was so different.
People came from all over the world for that.
Right. Now, what's coming up, of course, the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't remember that. It was 30 years ago. First flag-to-flag coverage of a NASCAR, back then, Winston Cup race. We have some video, or some pictures, I should say.
Where the fight broke out.
Where the fight. Which NASCAR thought that this was going to turn people off to the sport, and it turned them on. They loved it. Now, here's the wreck.
It was like watching hockey.
Yeah, Cale Yarborough, Donnie Allison, running first and second. They're beating and banging each other down the backstretch. And here they are again, beating and banging. And then they end up in the wall. There's the fight. Now, you really can't see them beating each other, but there's a video of them really going at it. And with Donnie Allison, he was the one car, and then Bobby Allison, his brother, saw what was going on. He's not worrying about finishing the race.
He pulled over.
He's got to help his brother because that's what they did back in those days. Now they'd spin their own brother out for the spot.
The old Alabama gang, right?
The old Alabama gang. They were incredible. Now, even though it made the next race more interesting for the fans, NASCAR did fine them. They got fined what their payoff would have been for their
finish.
For their finish, actually where they actually finished. Now, they had such a lead on Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip that they
did the fight, they broke it up, they got back in the car, and they were still a lap ahead.
It took Richard Petty was coming. He was second, and he was in the process of getting lapped for second, because that's how it would happen in those. There's not this stuff with these cars today that
2 seconds apart.
It's a parade, but yeah, that was
25 laps ahead.
Yeah, but that was the good old days. It's when you look back at that, it's 30 years ago, and I find that so hard to believe that. I remember having a bunch of people at my house. There was a blizzard. I didn't think they were coming. They came, and we watched this race. We all ate and drank, and I guess it was the beginnings of Daytona 500 parties. But that's what it was like, and nobody knew what to expect. And they had the camera. The cameras were huge back then that they had in the cars, and it was just a whole different atmosphere. The cars didn't have restrictor plates. You could race, which I just heard on Sirius FM NASCAR that after this Daytona race, there'll be no more restrictor plate racing. There'll be no restrictor plates at Talladega, Michigan, or the next Daytona race. No restrictor plates.
Really?
Because the new president, acting president, whatever title he holds, realized the product is not that good. And they got to bring racing back to racing and make it a little more interesting. So somebody's thinking.
What are they going to do to slow those cars down?
Probably something with the aero.
I'm going to have to.
I didn't have an opportunity to like look it up while I was driving, but I was listening to NASCAR on Sirius, and that's they were saying this is the last restrictor plate race.
I mean, Bill Elliott, what, 212 miles an hour?
212 in the Ford T-Bird.
And that was how long ago?
That was a while back.
And now they've been tuning on these cars with restrictor plates, getting them back up to 200 miles an hour.
Yep.
They snapped those things off of there.
These cars are going to probably go around 230 on the big tracks, on the Talladega.
I'm thinking, yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. You know, unless, yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, when this whole thing started, I mean, look at the cars that they were running.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not that far off from Bill Elliott turning at 212 with really a stock car,
pretty much,
per se. If that thing got sideways, it was like throwing a piece of paper in a windstorm. It's like, you know what I mean? But that was one of the things. I mean, yeah, I don't want to see it, but I mean, how many people passed away in the early days of racing? They were going over the fences. These cars, they were just, there was so much power in these things. It was like no handling, no aerodynamics. I mean, I mean, tires came along later, and just, you know what I mean?
It just seemed that, you know, like every rule, not every, but a lot of the rules that come to be because of a tragedy.
Because of some safety concern.
The restrictor plate had to do with Bobby Allison having that horrific crash that to this day he suffers the ill effects of it.
And he doesn't remember half of what happened.
He doesn't remember winning the Daytona 500.
With his son?
No, I mean, it was, man, I don't know.
And I think that most of these drivers today, you get them up to 212 miles an hour, they're going to need a special bag inside the car. Might be something within the seat, possibly, to hold the effects of 212 miles an hour, let alone going to 230 or 250 or wherever they're going to be. It's a rocket ship.
Oh, without a doubt. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more stuff, some changes that are going on in the NASCAR world when we come back.
Hey, what's up? Oh, I was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic, 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, you know, it's interesting. Everybody is talking about tires, and you know, they're right now they're on the Goodyears in the top series. For a while, there was some Hoosiers. Some of the lower, I shouldn't say lower. Let me rephrase that. Some of the local races are an American Racer, but General Tire, which was the tire used in the ARCA series. General Tire is going to serve as the exclusive tire supplier for NASCAR's K&N Pro Series, the Pinty's Series up in Canada, and the Peak Mexico Series. And they did this, they signed a multi-year deal. It's believed to be a 6-year deal for these tires. The tires will be manufactured in Lakeville, Indiana, the same place where ARCA had their tires built since 1995. So, you know, when you see a change like that, it's almost like the K&N is the testing ground and ARCA for the next series up, the top 3. I think NASCAR is looking for a better tire. I think they're looking for, how do I put this? Well, let's put it this way. You're the only game in town. You can do whatever you want.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you don't, you know, and think about in your business, if you're the only guy on Long Island that sold musical equipment, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be good equipment. You know, you just say, here you go, this is what we got.
Oh, we got that. We call that Fender and Gibson.
Yeah. You know, oh, and by the way, you don't like what we have? Oh, guess what? Then you're not playing.
That's right.
And that's basically what NASCAR has done. You know, I should say what Goodyear has done. And, you know, a set of tires is pretty expensive at the top of, you know, upper levels. And you have no choice. That's what you have to pay. So it's kind of interesting that that's happening when you think about it. Because, you know, and even when we raced at our local track, you know, I can remember that when I first started, well, at least with the modifieds, they had Hoosier or Goodyear.
Right.
And then we were forced to do whatever tire that the track deemed good for us.
The track tire, yeah.
You know,
we ran on Hoosiers.
Right.
Yeah,
and I remember in the figure 8 days, we ran on American Racer. And all of a sudden, the powers to be felt, why should we have American Racer there? Just make them run on Hoosier slicks. And, you know, and I had a tire sponsor. I'll never forget this. I was so disenchanted by racing because I had a sponsor who bought me 30, 40 tires, and now they were no good to use.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and the head official was like, and I went and talked to him. I sat down, had a meeting. I said, you gave us like no notice. Basically,
well, that's not right. Yeah,
we pulled into the track and
there should be a.
Oh, here's a rules addendum. Oh, good.
No, there should be a halfway through the year. By the way, next year we're not going to be using those tires. So if you got them, use them up.
And when you get that rules addendum, it says effective immediately. I said, does this mean today? Yeah. You know, so $800 comes out of your pocket for a set of tires. I mean, come on, that wasn't right. But
that means somebody didn't pay the bill. Somebody had words with the company. And
yep,
like,
something.
We'll just use these instead.
Or there was more being kicked into the kitty in the drawer.
But, you know, still effective immediately. Yeah, you got guys that have tires.
So
I mean, I always bought 50, 60 tires at the beginning of the year.
So. And, you know, so what I did with my crew. We sat in the shop. We bought four. And I'm like, I'm not throwing these away. They still had the stickers on them. So we're sitting there, and I said, do we have any Hoosiers stent stickers?
Was sprayed on?
So I just cut each letter out so I had the right angle. I made a stencil, white spray pen, and my American racers were now Hoosiers. And I finished the season. And then some guy that was parked next to me didn't hardly use his tires that much. And
oh, yeah, that guy.
I got 40 laps on these tires. There you go.
40 laps, that's a lot.
Exactly.
I got 4 laps on these tires. You want them?
The wear marks aren't even off.
I had a lot of tires, but we put brand new tires on all the time.
But
I mean, it's what you had to do to compete.
Right.
You know, you had to have the tires on there. You had to soak your tires. You know, how many? I don't even know how many brain cells we lost with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what they should now. With no restrictor plates on the big cars.
Yeah.
They need to make soft tires that ooze tire softener as they get hotter.
Yes.
So that these things stick to the track, so nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
They can build up the speeds and nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. So I just found that interesting. I mean, and I knew ARCA used a different tire. I never paid attention to what. And now it looks like with the K&N series and ARCA kind of doing a merger in 2020. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, who would have thought that they would just do that? But I'm sure those teams were notified way in advance, not like I was in
no more restrictor plates?
Yeah, not like I was in 1994.
Well, back in the day, they show up at the track with the Super Bee with the wing, and all of a sudden they're breaking the land speed records on the track. You can't do that today.
No.
Just show up with because that was what a production car was, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what was driving the whole racing thing. Was the production guys were like, hey, let's make this car. I think this will do good on the track. I mean, that was kind of the mystique of the whole racing thing.
And the rule was, the way it was in the rule book was, it had to be a stock production car. So Dodge, Superbird.
Right,
So
the Super Bee with the big wing.
Yeah.
My brother said it. He says, we should have a car, invent a car, that's got wheels on the side, on the passenger door. Just get up against the wall and gun it. You don't have to worry about tires. Yeah. You're just going straight.
Yeah.
Who cares about turning? Just gun it.
Just gun it. There you go.
And lo and behold, what does he do when he plays the NASCAR game?
Uh-huh.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
He gets up against the wall and he guns it.
Oh, man.
I'm like, that's not racing.
No. Yeah, I like when I play those games, and it's been a long time since I played one of my NASCAR games, that I would let myself start in the back, and then just go flying because you could pass on that game. You don't, like in real life, you can't pass, you get to stuff.
Right.
So I would start, I'd give myself a lot of room.
I just gun it.
And then just gun it and pass everybody outside, rub the wall, and I'd be like in the lead by lap 2, unlike in real life.
Right.
Well,
there you go. The drag strip guy, John Cazale, he's saying that his slicks are $660 each.
Wow.
Now, does each track have their own kind of slick, or can you show up with whatever tire suits your needs?
He would know.
He would know.
So John, maybe you can help us out there.
He said those are Goodyears. Okay. Which is, I get it. But, I mean, does every track have a track rule? Because those guys go to a lot of different tracks.
Oh, they do, yeah.
So you got to have a different tire at every track? Probably not.
Maybe. Might be a different compound depending on what the track is. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
What's
going to grab? What's going to grip better?
Right. You never know.
We'll see if he gets back to us.
But it'll be interesting to see. And that they got this new rule in NASCAR: if you fail tech, post-race tech, and you won, you didn't win. Yeah.
If you fail it, of course.
And pre-race, when you go and if you fail more than 2 times, you lose practice and a crew person. So they're kind of cracking down on that. And I'm thinking this, and I know this goes back to the big Bill France days, that he didn't want the fans leaving the track and saying, hey, Chuck Schultz won. Here's the trophy, and here's the pictures.
And then they take it
and
away.
Then they go in the paper the next day and they say that, you know, Goggles Paisano won.
Right, sure.
You didn't want that to happen. So you kept the win, you got fined, they took the parts.
Oh, yeah, they made sure I won. They took the whole car apart, cost me more money than I made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And they didn't know what they were looking for.
No. Well,
But that was the fun part.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had everything in my trailer, you know that. I could have built another car out of my trailer.
Well, you know, you say that and it reminds me of another rule change that was effective immediately.
Oh, which one?
When the figure eights were running 6 cylinders, the V8s had trouble coming off the corners, you know, so they put the small clutches in.
Okay.
Well, now the V8s are kicking tail all over the
Kicking
race.
butt, yeah.
So, pull into the pits, Bill Bryce Jr., or the third. Oh, we got a rules addendum. Another one of those effective immediately. Yeah, your clutch has to be a stock clutch, pressure plate, flywheel, and with the nuts and bolts and hardware, it has to weigh 32.5 pounds.
So there's your $1,200 shot to hell.
Oh, thrown in the garbage. Just
thrown in the garbage.
It's a paperweight.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So I'm reading the rule over and over and over. I'm reading it. Now, for those who don't know me, I studied law a little bit. So, you know, my primary thought was to do contract law. So I'm reading. I said, whoa, wait, whoa. Nowhere in this addendum does it say it has to be functioning. It says all cars must be equipped. So at the firewall on the left chassis rail, I had a 25-pound weight. I took it off, and I bolted a stock clutch pressure plate flywheel there. The headers went past it. I mean, they were almost touching. So I'm in the race. I finished 9th. I pull off, and Mike Scarito, who was one of the officials then, you need to go to tech. I thought I was like 10th or something. Just go to tech. Well, why? You'll find out when you get there. So I pulled down there, and the head tech guys don't even, why are you here? They told me to come here. Here comes Bill Bryce the third, Mike Scarito. We need to see your clutch. I start laughing. So my guy goes underneath. He gets like oven mitts because it's hot. He disconnects the shaft, the drywall. You're going through the motions. Then he takes the stock clutch pressure plate flywheel and he hands it to them. And they go to touch it. It's hot. Whoa. And they're like, oh, we still thought that you had the other clutch. We're very sorry.
You did, just not in the same spot.
It didn't say functioning. It said must be equipped with.
Well, it didn't say it had to be bolted to the rotating part of the motor.
Exactly. So when it came to be my time to be an official, they made me a tech official. And I looked at stuff like that.
How about the battery I threw at you? That was just a plastic case. Whoa!
We had fun, folks.
There were plenty of ways to get around most of these rules.
Yeah, what did they say in the chat room? What is going on February 24th? We all know Jay Slice. February 20. Oh, that February 24th.
No, the other February 24th.
Yeah, the other February 24th. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because we got some stuff going on that we want to talk to everybody. Anyway, I think it's break time, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about, I guess,
February 24th.
February 24th, because people are asking. And we're going to talk about some crew chiefs that were asked to leave the premises at Daytona International Speedway when we come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian. We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, February 24th.
Yes, February 24th.
It'll be March 3rd. In talking with Marty Himes, that works better for him. And it turns out it kind of works better for all involved. So it'll be March 3rd. It also gives folks who want to come visit that day an opportunity to do that without going on a short notice. It's funny, when I spoke to Marty, I shouldn't chuckle, but his first comment was, he goes, "What is a guy like you calling a guy like me for?" And I said, "I want to talk about, some stuff and racing." He goes, "Joe, nobody calls me." He goes, "Nobody calls me. I sit here, I'm looking through old pictures, I'm looking through some stuff, I go out to the garages." He goes, "The only time people come is for the reunion." And Marty can be very straightforward. And he goes, "You know why they come then?" I said, "Why, Marty?" "Because I feed them."
Because I'm giving away hot dogs.
Yeah, they come for the hot dog, they go for the donut.
Even a lot of that's donated. But
right,
it was my vision that we should do something for Marty. I
Absolutely.
mean, Marty is 79.
Yeah.
So he's not doing the reunion thing anymore. At least that's what he had said. But my thought is, and this is my vision. Now, of course, Marty's not online, so we can talk about this openly. But my thought is that we're going to go there under the guise of, which we want to do anyway. Joe and I talked about this. We want to go there and we want to interview Marty for hours and just get all the knowledge that he has down on tape, so that we can have it. I mean, he's a wealth of racing knowledge on Long Island and in general. Yeah. So we want to get all of this recorded. So my thought is, we do this, and we're probably going to meet there probably about 11 o'clock. This may take a couple of hours, so we may be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. We're not sure on the time, but I'm thinking that everybody, if everybody shows up around like, 2:30, 3 o'clock, they'll be outside. Marty won't even know this. And he's going to show us to the door. And when he shows us to the door, you're going to have all of these people outside. And this is when we shake this guy's hand and we say, thank you for what you've been doing. We all line up. We shake his hand, kind of like what they did for Earnhardt when he won the Daytona 500. Yep. And, this is something that this guy's going to remember. We're going to have a plaque that we're going to give to Marty from the Inravio TV network and Ultimate Media, thanking him for everything that he's done. And I think this would be a great gesture. Yeah, this is something that he's going to remember.
Exactly.
Forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the fact that, everybody took a half hour out of your day, an hour out of your day to shoot over to Marty's and shake his hand, wish him luck, the whole thing. And, hey, Marty, thanks for everything you've done. And, we love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's a grand gesture, right?
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yeah, I had stopped by his house back in September, taking care of some other business, and it was one of those things that he just started talking about the racing stuff, and all of a sudden he went somewhere else, like talking about why he didn't go to certain racetracks and why he stopped going to this racetrack and that racetrack, and just sitting there listening to him. Now for once, I felt that he was out of his comfort zone because he wasn't talking about, this guy's helmet, this guy's spy suit, this guy's official's uniform, this race car, this part, this spindle, this door. It was like he got out of his comfort zone.
It was more of a general thing.
Yeah, and then he said to me, so I said, I had to get him back. I had to reel him in. I said, Marty, I got to ask you, is it really no reunion you know, next year, or right then, it was 2018, in 2019, he says, nope, I can't do it. It's too much work. I said, well, what if we got people to help you, you know? He goes, you know, all the out-of-towners, he goes, I call them on the phone. And then when I say, hey, so-and-so, it's Marty, and all they say to me is, what's the date? And he says, it's always the same date. It's, you know, the last August, the Sunday in August. And he can, guys, and he kind of got reeled back in. But, you know, talking with his daughters, that it's his whole life, that place. It's what he does.
It is. He dedicated his whole life to that place.
And he wants to talk about what's going to happen to that place when he's no longer here. That's his concern. So that's what he wants to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know what we can do with that, but we can definitely do this.
We need to get Mega Millions, and then...
yeah, well, he's got... We thought about it based on everything he's got there. Mm-hmm. You could come up with a 20,000 square foot building and not be able to display everything he's got properly.
Right. Oh,
it's way too much stuff. Yeah. It's, you know, and I really don't know, you know, how to make that happen yet. But this is something that we can do for him because, you know, he's 79.
Right.
You know, this is something that I think would be a great thing for him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's literally dedicated his house, his property, his life, and everything to collecting and cleaning and holding on to and putting.
Yeah. And, you
it's
know,
a lot of work.
That show American Pickers is constantly calling him to go there.
But they want to buy and he doesn't want to sell.
And he doesn't want to sell. Absolutely. And he made that clear, that everything he has there is not for sale. 99% of it was donated, and how could he take something that was donated
and sell
it? So he's a very proud man. So if there's any way he could come by that day, you know, March 3rd, Sunday, it would be greatly appreciated. Not only to Marty and his family, but anybody who cares about the guy.
Right.
And it's hard to not care about Marty Harms.
Yeah, and if you're a racer, whether you're an oval track racer or a drag racer, he's got everything there.
Oh, yeah.
He's got it all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have never been there, it's your chance to do it. And you know what? Get on social media. You know other people that race. Yeah. You know other people that, and even if they don't race, you just want to give this guy an attaboy and give him a pat on the back. That's a great thing to do. Yeah. Load up the car, load up the van, come on down.
Yeah. There you
March on down, March 3rd.
There you go. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
We'll be taking attendance.
Let's give him a nice round of applause. Let's shake his hand. Let's do this right. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well. So I was talking about the 3 crew chiefs were ejected following pre-qualifying inspection failures. The crew chiefs belong to the number 9 of the Hendrick Motorsports car of Chase Elliott. The number 3 belonged to Richard Childress Racing, driven by his grandson Austin Dillon. And the number 13 of Jermaine Racing, driven by Ty Dillon. They were asked to leave. And basically they pull your hard card.
Escorted out.
And you're brought to the highway, and you're not allowed back in. You can buy a ticket as a fan and sit in the grandstands, and I've known people who've used...
talk on the radio?
Yeah, on either their cell phones or a radio. But, you know, that's going to be addressed probably tomorrow at the competition meeting or next Tuesday when they have their meetings. So there's more to that to come, and to be on how much of a fine. They were docked points. I believe it was 25 points. So the race didn't even start, and you're at negative 25 points. So that's the way the...
Ray's asking, just to interrupt you quick, he's asking what time and what date again. It's going to be March 3rd. I think we'll do it at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So March 3rd, 3 o'clock.
All right.
So 3-3.
3-3.
Actually, it's 3-3-3, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
Right, March is the 3rd month. So 3-3-3.
3-3-3. The 3rd day on the 3rd month.
At 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock.
There you go.
That's beautiful.
3-3-3. I think we just came up with something there.
Yeah, wow. Look
accidentally on purpose. 3-3-3.
And thank you, Ray Dominguez. The address, 15 O'Neill Avenue, Bayshore, New York, 117006. It's off of, no matter which way you come, Montauk Highway, Sunrise Highway, you go up or down Brentwood Road, make a turn onto Reddington, And Neil, you can't miss it, because if you look down the blocks, you'll see race cars, and it's a really fun place to be. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about is real quick before we break, the K&M Pro Series race, which was supposed to be held yesterday, was postponed due to rain, and the race is now. So due to the rain at New Smyrna Speedway, qualifying was canceled, and the field will be set based on the rule book. I love when they say that. Based on the rule book. Now, is
that who got the rule book mailed out first?
Yeah, pretty much. And if you read that part.
Oh, okay.
You know, did you read that part? I mean, come on. But so that race is right now, and it'll be interesting to see the outcome. Probably by the time we get back, that race will be over. So we'll be reporting about that race next week. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the clash, which became a crash, and some of the other things that are going on at the Daytona International Speedway when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8, Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Well. We're some of the Proto Men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming We Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, the clash. Now, a lot of people are saying, is this race really necessary? Why do they have it? It basically was like a race to kick off speed weeks for guys who had poles, guys who won it in the past, to put fannies in the seats. Let's be realistic.
To give everybody something to do watching racing. You know, how much qualify can you watch?
Right.
You drink the beer, you watch the qualifying, you want to race.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to have the duels, the twin 125s, right? They used to do that whole Budweiser shootout thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Now what do they call? They call it something else now. But you know, they had front row qualifying. Why do they have to have qualifying on a 2.5-mile track, one car at a time, 2 laps, to just pick the front row? Because that's what they do. Now they'll run the duels on Thursday and decide the rest of the lineup. It doesn't make sense to me. And I was looking into that before, and
I think it's a matter of everybody getting a little more seat time on the track.
That's
and
what I'm thinking.
Getting some more information. I mean, because there's still, you know, they're still, you know, basically grabbing information from
exactly
what they're doing out there. I mean, even though most of these teams have been down there testing.
Yep.
I mean, they can never have too much information, right?
Now, you know, qualifying for the front row, 21-year-old William Byron with his new crew chief, Chad Canowns. He got the pole, and Alex Bowman, his teammate, secured the outside row. And then for next week's Daytona 500. Both cars are owned by Hendrick Motorsports. This is Byron's first pole in his career, circling the track at 46.319 seconds, or 194.3 miles per hour with a restrictor plate. And Alex Bowman's best lap was 46.355, which when you're talking, it's 200. That's a burp. That's a burp. With an average speed of 194.154. Positions 3 through 40 will be determined in Thursday's Gander RV duels.
Gander RV.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
I guess they're sponsoring it this week.
Yes. There'll be 2 60-lap races on the 2.5-mile racetrack, and Duel 1 will put the qualifiers that were with odd finishing in qualifying in the first race. Duel 2 is for the even number qualifiers in the second race.
And there's no consi.
No consi. And here's what always confuses me. A team could sit on their time, if it's an up there time, you know, in the top 10, 15, 20, because they're going to start 40 cars.
Okay.
Or they could choose their finish in the duel. So if they have a better finish, then they put... What happened to...
But you can mix and match. So in other words, if you do it and it doesn't work out, yeah, you sit on the time.
Exactly.
All right.
Now there's 42 cars, 21 in each of these events.
Right. And
2 guys are going home.
2 guys are going home.
2 guys are going home.
That's ridiculous.
And Byron and Bowman say that's...
Because they're only starting 40 cars.
Yeah, they're only starting 40. So the front row, they could crash out in this race. They still got the front row. Now, in any other race in the course of the season, if you crash, after you've qualified and crashed, you go to a backup car, to the back
of the field. So in other words, if they crash out and they go to a backup car, they're still in the front row.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't understand why. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't understand. Now, years ago, this
you
race...
think that's a safety thing? Because, you know, they've been running this car, and they know what that car is doing. You go to a backup car, that car doesn't have the much the track time that the other one does. So it's a safety thing.
I'm thinking...
These guys will ride right over you.
Oh, yeah. So, and 2 guys are going home, so, you know, and when you think about the charter teams, the 36 charter teams, they're automatically in, they're in.
They're in already.
Yeah, it's like you're automatically in heaven.
Past champions provisional.
And you got your 2, what do they call it? They don't do the champion no more. They do last year's owner points and last year's driver points. Now, some of these guys don't have that. They're not a charter team. They're not past owners or champions or driver champions.
Right.
And they're not anything. I'm thinking, would you spend a couple of $1 million for a 0 chance?
So you show up at a Subaru Outback and you don't qualify.
Yeah.
You go home.
You go home. You know?
I mean, what are you doing over there?
And I know.
And it's how much is it to go to Daytona for speed weeks?
A lot.
A lot. More zeros than I care to count. Because, I mean, in one race weekend at a regular track for a sprint car, you're still talking $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
One race weekend.
One race weekend. At that level.
At that level.
Yeah. And to go there and...
For a whole week or a month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're there because you're there with all the other nonsense. And it's just, I don't get it. Now, years ago, this race, the duels, when it was the twin 125s, before sponsorship came into the deal, paid points. So you walked out of Daytona
with a lot
something.
Of points.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to. I mean, come on, listen to what you're talking about. You've got a month worth of being at Daytona and on the track, off the track with the car.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about how much time have you already put into the cars, because you're going to bring more than one,
right?
At the shop. I mean, since probably before you finished racing last year.
Right.
I mean, so you got all your shop, you guys at the shop, all that. The bill on this thing is astronomical. Astronomical. And then you get to the track and you're going to spend a month over there.
Yeah. And now you're going to understand why, like, Front Row Motorsports is a past champion, folded it up. Because even with his sponsorship and winning, the championship, they still didn't have enough money to go racing.
That's a lot of dough. It's a lot of commitment. I mean, these guys aren't working for free.
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of guys out there that would work for free, but you need to bring, top notch to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got to pay top notch to get them to work. And what are you going to do there? I can't even imagine. And you got your whole crew. You got to support the whole crew while you're there.
Right. Hotels,
food.
Get them there.
Beverage, everything else.
Getting
them in, getting them out.
Right.
It's that's a lot.
Oh yeah. I can remember when the Wood brothers, who'd they have a driver from? Oh, I can't remember. Kenny Schrader. I'm at Martinsville, and they're sponsored by Little Debbie's.
Okay, I remember.
Cakes.
Yeah.
And
Ken's a good one.
I'm walking around and had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Leonard Wood. Just talk. We're just talking about the old days, because I'm one of those guys that I used to sit behind in the stands at Ice Speedway, and there'd be two old guys with their flannel shirts, their heavy coats, their old hats, and they'd say, "Back in the day,"
like they were going hunting.
Yeah, and I'd say, "I hope I'm never like that."
They were like the two old guys at the Muppets.
Yes.
But racing version.
Yeah. I became those two old guys.
What the hell's he doing? What's that on the car? Joey, what's that on the car over there?
With their cigars, blowing cigar on my face. Oh my God! But I became.
We didn't have window nets.
Yeah, we didn't have to wear fire suits. We rolled up our sleeves.
That was it. Had a cigar hanging out of our mouth.
Oh man, days.
Right.
Then they could have a fight on the track, and they were there next week. They didn't get suspended. No fines. Now, if you step out of your car, you're thrown out. You can't get out unless you're on fire.
But those are the best times. Come on. Dale Earnhardt hanging out of the window of his car, wiping his own windshield at the short track.
Yep.
I mean, come on, that's classic. And then he gets back in.
Oh, yeah.
How great is that?
Yeah. Wow, a couple of people. It's all good. I got to tell them it's all good. People are. Hey, for those that were, excuse me, in the chat room, Winnie, who's never misses a show, never. Her computer crashed, so she just wanted to say hi to everybody. So, hi, everybody. But anyway, so the crash, whatever you want to call it, if you watched it, and I happened to watch it, 20 cars were in the race, and the move made by Jimmy Johnson to win took out 17 cars.
Really?
Now,
well, he did win, didn't he?
Yeah, they let it stick, Jimmy Johnson felt, and I quote, "With the rain coming, I had to do this to make the move to win." Now, Paul Menard, who he, depending on how you look at it, and who he initially hit, lost the clash race. He was going on for the win. He felt that Jimmy Johnson tore up his car for no reason, causing a 17-car wreck. And like I said, 20 cars started that race. Now, it has drivers and teams questioning, is this race necessary? It used to have a big, boom, fanfare. Hey, these are the best of the best from last year. And they said they run the All-Star race at Charlotte, so why don't they incorporate it into that? They bring these cars that are expendable. So, I don't know.
Well, to them.
To them, right.
I mean, they got like a Pez dispenser. They just spit out some more cars.
Right.
But, I mean, he doesn't have Chad Knaus now, right?
Yeah, they're moving through. If you ask me, this is his last season. my opinion.
So one of those things, which is a difficult, pill to swallow, if you will, is if you're used to a car doing a certain thing because you had a certain setup under you, and now your crew chief is gone.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to be the same.
Exactly.
But you're used to still doing what you kind of used to do, and that's when stupid things like that happen.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Thinking that you can make it, thinking you got it, thinking I can zip it through there, and it's just not going to happen.
Now, I'm not a Jimmy Johnson fan. It's not that I don't like him. I'm proud to say I'm a Richard Petty Motorsports fan, and you could put anybody in that car, I'm still going to root for him. I've been a Petty fan since I first saw my first stock car race on Wide World of Sports in like 1963.
I remember. I was a Petty fan too.
Yeah. So, and it's not that I don't like Hendrick Motorsports. And they do a nice job. They're consistent. They win.
The Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, come on.
Okay.
They're like,
and
the world renowned. Forget about it.
And eventually,
top-notch everything.
The word in the street is that Jeff Gordon is going to run Hendrick Motorsports when Mr. Hendrick has had enough. He's already a partner. A lot of people don't know this. Jeff Gordon is a partner in the 48 car driven by Jimmy Johnson.
I knew that.
And so now here he is announcing he's sticking up for Jimmy Johnson. Darrell Waltrip sticking up for Paul Menard, and they're having a little thing back and forth in the announcer's book about it. But, it's racing, though, You're going for the win. And anybody out here who's ever raced, who's watching, listening, going to catch it during the week, if you've ever raced, you're going to do, if you're in a position to win, you're going to do just about whatever it takes. You might go in a little deeper at a short track. You might ride somebody up to the marbles, whatever. But he saw an opportunity. He definitely, looking at reviews, he took the air off the spoiler, which made Menard's car do a little squirrely thing, and he might have overcorrected, maybe, but his quarter was here. So what happens? You overreact. When you feel the back end going that way, you're going to turn this way, and what are you going to do? You're going to turn into the wall. And and that's I think is what happened. I just think it was a racing deal. I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't think anybody wants a wreck on purpose.
No, and I've said that.
But sometimes people always take a little bit extra chance that maybe they shouldn't take because they're anxious. They want to get that win, And when you're the guy who's paying to fix the car or fixing the car, you kind of think about that. Short track version, you think about that a little bit more, Yeah. But when it's like, I get out, Pez dispenser, another car comes out.
Yeah.
You don't really think that much about it because to you it's still a big whoop,
So anyway.
So. Well, I guess we got to get going.
I'm getting the word.
You getting the finger?
Yeah, I'm getting the word. It's 1 minute. It's hard to close with a minute. You need like 2 minutes.
A minute and a half at least.
At least, Anyway, so we got the Daytona 500 coming up this weekend. We got the duels on Thursday, the truck race Friday, the Xfinity cars Saturday, and then the only sport that holds a Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500.
It's already here. Wow.
It's already here.
Quick.
Who knew? But anyway, I want to take this opportunity to thank you folks for watching our show. Chuck and I talking racing, talking with you. And Jay Slice, thanks for your input tonight. Thank you. And I don't know if you're going down. If you're not there already, there's Speed Weeks at New Smyrna. So we'll have some results next week at it. We'll talk about New Smyrna. We'll talk about all the race results at Daytona. And we'll go from there. So I want to let everybody know to please be safe, be careful, give somebody a hug, tell them you love them. God bless you all, and God bless WJ. We miss you, buddy. Have a good night, everybody.
Inravio.com.